Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the College Football Show, brought to you by High Top Sports. And this show is, of course, brought to you by OddsJam. We'll be talking about them later on in the show. They are the sponsor for today's show. Got a lot of college football talk to go over. The quarterback war that's happening across the league, whether you're Notre Dame, Tennessee, Alabama, Colorado. We're going to dive into it, get after it. Tennessee signs a big deal with Adidas. And on the surface, you can have your fun, you control, like why go from Nike to Adidas? What's going on? You can't handle your business. It's a $100 million contract. Cool, Sheldon. Why is that important? It's actually pretty huge, and we'll get after it. Players fighting coaches? Come on. FSU cannot stay out of the headlines, and they're in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Hugh comes out. He gets trolled by Lane Kiffin in his new play calling tactics, and we've got a guy from USA Today that just goes absolutely haywire with this information. And then Texas, we've been saying it. We've been knocking on that door. We get some intel. The O-line struggling. Am I smelling an 0-1 start to Ohio State? I thought about this as a Florida fan. SEC, the drama we had with Big Ten and the SEC. I want Texas to win week one, but there's part of me that wouldn't mind them just getting absolutely slobbered, you know what I mean, and torched by Ohio State. So lots to talk about. Sit back, relax. Gonna have a great show. Cody the Professor joins us here today. Big dog.
What's up? Hey, actually, you know what? You just reminded me. There's a clip of old Hugh Freeze going absolutely nuclear. So I just sent that to your DM, so we can pull that up when we talk about Freeze.
You sent to X?
Or the thaw. Yeah, I sent it to your X.
Okay, thank you, sir. Well, look, let's dive into, man, quarterback drama. We heard about a lot of the SEC quarterback situations. Alabama was one that we spoke about. Tennessee was another one that we spoke about heavily. Mizzou is another one, I believe there was a little battle going on. Mizzou is not a school that has people really concerned. Michigan does not have an issue. I actually misread the article. Bryce Underwood's a starter. It caught me. I had to I reread like 9 times. It gotta help people in the comments, so I wasn't the only one that was, scratching my head there. But Ohio State, obviously, they got Julian Sand. Apparently, there's a little bit of a battle there over Lincoln Kinholtz, but there's a tight battle. I didn't even know Ohio State was having any issues or a battle going on at the quarterback position. Look, in my opinion, I think Ohio State has done a really good job of what Bama has done and what they did for a decade, where the quarterback play for Alabama, did it matter? Yes. But were we worried about who was the starting quarterback at Alabama year in and year out? Not as much, because they were just a powerhouse. It was just come in, do your job, don't mess up, and move on. I think Ohio State has done a good job of the surrounding cast to overcome whatever that quarterback situation may be. It's a school that a situation that hasn't been talked about from what I've heard anyways. Tennessee, Joey Aguilar seems to be pulling away, as he should.
I would hope so.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, dude? I saw that. It wasn't even a guaranteed lock. It was just they've given Joey Aguilar and Jake Merklinger the reps for the first team for the most of fall camp. But George McIntyre pressed last weekend for the scrimmage. The odds that George gets to start week one, very low. But if this season tumbles into what we think that it could, I mean, this Tennessee season can get slippery really, really fast. Could they go to George quickly? I mean, it's likely.
This might be a hot take. It might not. I think McIntyre is going to be rolled out in a starter at one of the games. And I don't think it's necessarily going to be because they're playing the School of the Blind. I think if it gets rocking and rolling down a steep cliff and you start getting a couple losses, I think you kind of got to go to the young guy just to see. I mean, the kid's a gunslinger. I really liked him coming out of high school, but I just don't think he's ready. I think it's going to be tough for him to defenses. It doesn't surprise me that he went out and slung it though during scrimmage. I'm going to tell you this. At one point, I kind of thought that South Carolina and Florida's quarterback room was kind of iffy. They're kind of looking depth-wise like probably the two best in the SEC.
This is something that I've said a lot, actually, when people panic about Florida, and it's like, if we lose DJ, it's like, if any team loses a quarterback, they're going to have some problems.
Who's LSU got?
Yeah, LSU, Texas. It's not like they've got some just absolute killer. LSU, I want to say, I can't remember. I feel like they have somebody back there. But again, the fact that we're even having this conversation tells you a lot. Georgia, I
No,
have seen that Ryan Puglisi. I
they have
wanted. Go ahead.
Bryce Underwood was supposed to be their guy, and then he flipped.
That's
I don't think they didn't get a top tier guy. They didn't get a 5-star.
Yeah, they didn't get like a Deuce at Auburn, or like a Bryce Underwood if that would have been the case for them. What other team got a 5-star quarterback, or like Aaron Nolan at South Carolina?
Yeah.
People are. I saw the Bud Elliott and those guys from the Cover 3 podcast and Danny Kennell. Take this with a grain of salt. I know that I am. They were hating on Harrison Bailey a little bit. Again, I don't think Harrison Bailey is your certified backup. Tramel Jones has made tremendous strides in this offseason. But either way, I think that you're still in a great place with any one of those guys. Harrison Bailey can come in and be a very virtual backup if need be. But Ryan Puglisi, I love saying his last name, for Georgia, has been doing some great things for them. And I kind of thought about it. I know Jake Fromm, or was it Jake Fromm or Eason? I think it was Eason that went down with a leg injury, and then Jake Fromm kind of stepped in and took over that role before Stetson Bennett went in. I know his knee injury is what made Eason go out and Fromm step in, but I felt like you could have, because Stockton he's your guy because he's been building up to this moment, but Puglisi going into his second year could make massive strides. He was a highly touted quarterback. Maybe there's been some progression. He apparently has really adapted to Bubba's offense as well, has soaked it in. So again, that quarterback drama that has really sparked a lot of interest, but I was just taking a look as obviously a team that we have to go up against. I wanted to see what all the hoot and hollering was about. The big one, Alabama announced Ty Sampson as their starter, finally, but solidified starter. And look, I mean, I saw today, I don't know whose it was. I can't remember now. I think it was an On3 guy that picked Alabama. Maybe it was the SEC guys. I don't know. Picked Alabama to win the national championship. And it's crazy because, look, I think I've written Bama off this year to an extent, especially when we were talking about it for their quarterback situation. But if this was a Nick Saban Alabama, and I say this to Florida too, if this team was coached by someone else, none other than Billy Napier, who has not had the greatest track record, who doesn't have the support yet, right? The in-game decisions, just how does he manage week to week? This team would be rated and more feared than other teams, right? And that you could say that for a lot of different teams. But this Alabama team, I think that because of the fall off they had last year to an extent, with a very talented football team, it wasn't like they were rolling scrubs out there. This Bama team could be somebody that scares a lot of people because of just the surrounding talent that's there. I mean, it's just plentiful everywhere you look. And it's not like Ty Sampson is a quarterback situation like Tennessee with a brand new guy followed by 19 freshmen, right? Ty Sampson's been there for behind Jalen Hurts, not Jalen Hurts. Was it Hurts? I know it was Milroe and one more. Might have been Hurts. But I think he's been there as long as Hurts, which is, when you think about it like that, or not Hurts. Who was before Milroe? Hurts, right?
No, the short kid, Young.
Tua?
No, Young. Bryce Young.
Oh, Bryce Young. That's who it is. Thank you. Gosh, I was drawing. I knew it wasn't Hurts. So yeah, Bryce Young and Jalen Milroe, and Ty was with behind both of those guys. So he's been in the system. He's been part of that program. A lot of people are high on them, but look, we're going to see that week one. We're going to see it tested, I believe, week one against FSU as well.
I think it also matters when you look at the teams and coaches. When it comes to this quarterback battle around the league, you also kind of got to have guys that have proven to be able to groom quarterbacks. I think if this roster,
Amen.
right, if we switched it, say this same roster, and it was Dan Mullen, I don't think we're even talking about quarterback development. The offense is going to score 50 points a game with this roster. So I think you got to kind of look. DeBoer, he was at Washington. He produced Michael Penix. He got him out of the portal
with their offensive coordinator, who's now back in the mix. So
yep,
yeah,
with their offensive coordinator that's back at Bama now. Had a little stint somewhere else, but he's back. I think that you kind of gotta. I think the questions are is can these guys actually develop them? We kind of Tennessee is hard because Heupel, runs kind of that Mickey Mouse offense. It's like, well, golly, he made everybody look good. Some of these guys go to the NFL, and you're like, how did this guy even complete a throw?
Yeah, Hooker and oh boy, we haven't heard much about them since they made it to the NFL. So
and so it's a wonder. It's like, how do these guys even produce? And some of it's the offense. Some of it is quarterback coaches. Like Lincoln Riley, you're never really worried about a quarterback with him. He can grab whoever out of thin air, and that kid's probably going to be pretty good. I think the biggest thing too is there's just a lot of question marks. And I think we're fiending for football, but there's a lot of question marks. And I think more question marks than what we've had in years.
Across the board, whether it's healthy quarterbacks or, solidified quarterbacks, I think, these conversations, I think, will die down. Obviously, they will die down once the season gets started, and it may not be a big concern. I even take a look at FSU's quarterback situation. I mean, I don't know they're all in on Thomas Castellano, but if that doesn't pan out, they're going to be in the exact same situation as they were last year. I was reading that Squirrel White, their wide receiver, their key wide receiver, transferred from Tennessee. Guess what he's in, Cody? He's in a boot.
What?
He's in a boot.
Hey, yeah, Milan's icing his foot down now. I mean,
the boot gate seems to be just an epidemic across college football at the moment. I feel like this might be a new approach to any type of injury, similar to the guy wearing the Guardian caps. Like, we're just going to be extra precautious in any which way we can. That's kind of how it's starting to feel.
When it comes to sports medicine, all it takes is one research to come out, and all of a sudden it's the new thing, right? Like I just read something today about creatine helping with Alzheimer's. There's a study. So now, like you all over Facebook and stuff, all you see are these tasty creatine supplements, gummies everywhere. Because
creatine and magnesium, boys, that's all you need. All right, that's all you need. Two main ingredients. Your two
and a boot. In a walking boot.
And a walking boot. That's all I take. Those are the two things that I take. I've dialed it in. Nikki Butch 3, $2. Bit of fans is the Holly BDE era. Keep it up. I love hearing that when people come up and say, "Yo, I've been watching this BDE." Like you a dog if you've been around it. If you know what I'm talking about, because I don't mention it and I'll talk about it. Nobody knows what it is. There's a few stickers that still float around my job that we all handed out. I honestly, I don't even think I have the stickers anymore. That's sad. I got to figure out where those are at. And maybe we might, what would be cool is we made a throwback. Yeah, it would be kind of lit. I gotta find the logo, but it would be kind of sick. $10, my man, the sponsor, Rook Superior Towing on a burner with these boots. Yeah, somebody needs to get the boots, the boot company's sponsorship. Be sure to smash the like button, boys, and subscribe. Last but not least, Colorado with Caden Salter and Julian Lewis. This has been a battle that I knew was going to be one coming into this. I like both these quarterbacks. I think Caden Salter's fantastic. The kid can absolutely sling the rock. When he was visiting Colorado, I go, man, this is one hell of a transition from Shador to Caden. I think you're getting a professional quarterback that has the ability to move the ball up and down the field. He struggled his last year at Liberty, but the year prior to that kid was slinging it all over the place. But you know what you've got in Julian Lewis as well. And it appears that it's going to be a Tebow, Chris Leak-esque type of situation. And Salter, from the interviews that I've seen and read about, is taking it with stride as a true leader of like, yeah, that's going to be okay. We're going to rock and roll with this. I don't know if Julian will run away with it by the middle of the season. I really think Salter is a great quarterback. If things get slippery for Colorado, I think that first game is going to be an absolute blast. I think Georgia Tech's a really good football team. I'm going to do a preview of that game at some point because I think it's a really fun game. I think Hayes Kings might give them some problems. That's going to be my concern for Colorado. But can Georgia Tech keep them down? We don't know. I think they're going to run the ball more effectively. But real quick, though, let's do a quick shout-out to Julian and our guys over at the network here. Network Advisory. He just signed an NIL deal with Jim Weed. So who represents them is the same person who represents DJ Lagway, the network. They represent a lot of different guys. So shout out to Mr. Lewis there for getting himself a nice little NIL portfolio deal. Again, we're seeing guys like the network. They also represent Calvin Russell, the 5-star receiver that just went to Syracuse. The way they navigate and operate, I appreciate, I respect, very under the radar, but in the sense of like marketing and kind of being bodacious about certain deals. You don't hear about their players with their contracts and how much they're being moved for. It doesn't get talked about because I can double down on this because when the Russell news came out and that guy from Deadspin pumped out that information, Justin from Network was like, no, that's not what happened. I didn't speak on this at all either. So kudos to him for knocking that in. Speaking of NIL deals and movement, Tennessee lands themselves a massive $10 million a year deal with Adidas and drops Nike. Now, again, like I said, beginning of the show, when you first heard this, people were having fun with it. I don't really get too caught up in these changes. If Florida were to change from Adidas, I would be pissed. I think it's ugly, right? But if somebody else wants to go to Adidas, or I think Reebok would be kind of sick, kind of like a throwback. I'd be okay with that. But again, I didn't really look into it too much. But here's the loophole. I don't know if anybody knows this, but this is where things get interesting. This is going to be massive from an NIL perspective because this whole the NIL rev share era, where they're not supposed to go out to a third party, they're not allowed to collect money. This money is allowed to be utilized for overspending in the rev share era. So it goes towards that money. I also started connecting this because I don't know if you saw where I think it was South Carolina signed a deal where they're going to have the cat sponsorship on the field. I assume now that money will also be able to be used in this rev share era. So they're just finding another avenue. That $20 million you see, we knew was never going to be the $20 million or $13 million that's being given to the football program. You have to be creative. I respect that. Like if that's how you're going to work your way around it, at least we see it, right? At least there's, you're getting sponsorship so we can see what's happening versus just being hush money, if you will. Again, I still think that there has to be barriers because if you're going to allow this to happen, you're going to walk out into the dang football field. It's going to look like a NASCAR car, right? Just sponsorship.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, it might be a little bit hard to see where you're running if that's the case.
I mean, okay, yeah, maybe you sponsor your big, like you're only allowed to have two big ones on the field, but hey, if they want to fill those,
everything else
around everything else, load it up with whatever you want, Tampax, whatever. I don't care. It's money in the yeah.
No, I agree. I'm not bad about it at all. Let me read this so it's right. However, there isn't a cap on third-party NIL deals, meaning Adidas can effectively help with the over-cap opportunities. Because again, with this new house versus the settlement, under the agreement, schools can share to $24.5 million with athletes, and again, not allow for third-party. You're not supposed to. I know that's obviously going to be find a way to work around, but this is the true way to work around it. So again, we kind of laughed at first when you see, they dropped Nike, nobody wants to go there, where Tennessee said, no, and look, Tennessee, to their credit, has been one of the top NIL collectives since the beginning, since day one. I would say Florida was a trailblazer on really kind of creating the collective market, right? They were really the first to create it, but for ones that were a part of it and really ran with it and built it up from a financial standpoint, Tennessee has always been a top 5 up there. So that's not an opinion, that's a fact.
Yeah, I think, man, it's tough because I think Adidas is a lesser brand. I'm sorry, Nike is and Jordan is the top of the top, the top of the
heap. But if let's say Nike's paying you $5 million a year and Adidas comes by and says I will give you 10.
I understand that, but just from a
selling jerseys perspective.
Yeah, selling jerseys, it's a little bit different when you got that Jordan on.
Would you rock an old Reebok? I mean, yeah, we get some great gear with
a Reebok.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd rock anything. I mean, I think I have a Viking starter.
Yeah,
remember when
that's what I'm saying.
By starter.
Yeah,
I would. I mean, if it was throwback, yeah, but if the University of Florida dropped Jumpman and bought Adidas stuff, I would save up. I would take out my 401k and I would buy every single closeout sale of the Jordan stuff, and I would never buy an Adidas piece of apparel. It looks terrible. Their jerseys look terrible.
Yeah,
it looks bad. Their cleats
cheap.
are ugly. It looks cheap.
I have good reason to believe.
But this is the thing. hold on, real fast. You said
Good.
that Tennessee was kind of the tip of the spear when it comes to this NIL. They also were the tip of the spear to have their quarterback leave in the middle, right before, spring practice.
These are good.
So just because Tennessee's doing it doesn't mean it's a good idea.
Look, I don't know if that was a financial situation as much as that it played out to seem that way. I really think that it was more of an ego play. I think money was a factor, right? But let's talk about it. The money, it wasn't that they couldn't afford it. It was that we're not going to buy into that. We're not going to play that game with you. We're going to put our foot down. So it was more of an ego check. That's how for me how it kind of shaped up. I believe that. I could be wrong, but that's from what we've heard and read. I know money was a factor, but that was real quick, boys. This is not a sponsor. I would love to be sponsored by them. This is why I know it'd be good. We all like water and probably put like flavor water, but it's all crap. I hate sparkling water. Most of like the vitamin water is like kind of like just crappy. We get like the little hydration packs you put in. Those are okay, right? It's a little powdery at times. This stuff, Joy Burst, boys, knock your dick off, okay? I'm just telling you, boys, they figured it out. It's zero. It's just straight water. It's not coconut water. Like, it's not super sweet. It's like the perfect. It's like a Celsius without the crap. Like Celsius is all like hyper with all the, like the energy, but you know how Celsius is like that's a good lot of perfect flavor. That's it, boy. That's wild. Like, I don't want to like a weird plug, but like that's how good it is. Like I'm just like I want to share with y'all. If you're like me and like a kind of a little bit of flavor water every now and then, and it's a good hydration, just let me know.
I also like a flavored type of water. It's called Bush Light.
Okay, sorry, my apologies. Try either one, boys.
Shameless plug there too. Hey, you want to sponsor the show? Come on.
Oh God, could you imagine the things we could do? You know, there's a nice old. Hey, in the spirit of sponsorships, let's go ahead and give our boys OddsJam some love. Let's take a listen to see what they have to look at these results. People are making thousands every month betting on sports completely risk-free. The secret? They're using OddsJam. OddsJam isn't just another betting app. It's turning the entire system in your favor. And here's how. OddsJam uses a strategy called arbitrage, finding odds discrepancy across a sports book. You bet both sides, and no matter the outcome, you will profit. Here's an example. If you bet $500 on Boise State to win on FanDuel and $335 on their opponent San Francisco on DraftKings, you're guaranteed to make $50 win or lose. It's that simple. With OddsJam's mobile app, you'll get real-time alerts on these opportunities every day. People are making thousands of dollars every month, and to get you started, use the code HIGHTOP for 35% off and a 7-day free trial. I guarantee you'll profit during the trial, and if you don't, cancel with one click, no questions asked. Don't leave money on the table. Go to oddsjam.com now, use the code HIGHTOP, and start making money the smart way. Pretty cool little setup there.
Oh, absolutely.
I
want for our next sponsorship, just an Anheuser-Busch truck, just backing up into my driveway and them just unloading pallets
Clydesdales
of lattes.
I'll work on it, Cody. I'll work on backing it up there, boys. Be sure to smash the like button, boys. It's almost 2 strong in here. I'm loving it. I'm glad. Hope you guys are enjoying this show on Thursdays. We got this show Thursday and Monday morning for the Monday mashup. Once the season starts, this thing will be much more electric with topics of conversation. Just because of obviously much more to go over, team previews, things like that. That's what this show will turn into, is previewing the games, like what our high top game day was on Saturday, but on Thursday, just because Saturdays are a little hectic. There's obviously so many other people talking about the games. No need for us to get into the middle of that chaos. So we had a little bit of a situation at FSU. Conrad Hussey, I believe their DB was released from the team. At the time, we didn't know about it. This is a big depth piece for them. Guy that played a lot of games last year, played in 10 games, started in 4, going into his 3rd year, expected to be, I would say, a solidified secondary guy. If we're thinking about from a floater's perspective, he's your Kermani McLean-esque, right? We've got Dejan and Devin Moore as our 1-2. Your 3rd and 4th DBs are important. Those guys are rotating on and off the field. Again, a guy that's coming in with a ton of snaps as well was released due to an altercation, a fist fight, if you will, with one of the players. And man, look, the reason I bring this up is because we love to troll FSU. It's fun, but there obviously was a major cultural issue last year. You don't go from 13-1 to 2-10 without there just not being some, can't think of the word right now, but things being cohesive amongst the group. And now this year, as we know, and they go back into the portal, change a lot of coaches, especially on the defensive side of things, bring in a new offensive coordinator. It's a complete facelift for the Florida State Seminoles. If you look at their depth chart and take a look at it from their starters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on both sides of the ball are new transfers for this year. The other guys are still transfers, but they were there at least there last year. So 13 out of their 22 starters are all transfers, which is crazy. That's a complete revamp of a football team. We've seen the Thomas Castellano drama. I think FSU fans are just holding on for dear life that it works out for them. Again, I don't think it's a lose-lose. I don't mind it if you can back it up. It'll be one of the biggest things we do talk about because he walked the walk. But if it doesn't work out, you can see it burning down pretty quickly. What are your thoughts on these boys getting after it?
Well, here's the first thing. Great teams are not led by great coaches. Great teams are led by great players and stepping up to be leaders. And when you have that many transfers, I don't know if you can get a conglomerate of great leaders when you have such a turnstile of roster. There's nobody been there since day one.
Who do you lean on? Who do you look to? That's been in this predicament that you can feel comfortable
they have
with.
That 5-star. They got that 5-star DB, Lester. I can't remember his name. He's still there, but it's like you're not recruiting well in high school. You're depending on the transfer portal, and then you can't even keep
Charles
the kids
Lester.
that you
Charles Lester's third right now. Redshirt freshman, that 5-star, third on the depth chart at the moment.
So he's not a leader. I mean,
Yeah.
where are you getting your leadership from? If you have to get your leadership from the coaches, you're gonna be you're gonna lose a lot of games because when it going gets tough, coach can't run out on the field to make the play for you. He can't adjust you. You know, the coaching is done on game day. There's no more coaching to be had. Yeah, you can make little adjustments, but the coaching happens during the week. You got to go out there and perform. And if you know what's gonna happen? The first time that they get scored on quite a bit, down 14-21, just watch and look for players starting to point the finger at each other. As soon as that happens, the season is over.
Another big one here that we don't talk about a lot is Deuce Robinson. They had Deuce Robinson, score white. Deuce Robinson was a 5-star tight end. They've got him listed as a wide receiver, and I get it. He's 6'6", 222 pounds. A little heavy.
We saw that before, though.
Yeah, but so he was a tight end at USC. Had 5 catches last year for 396 yards. I don't know how much wide receiver he played. He probably played a little bit of both, but you wonder how much of that played a factor because, again, was recruited as a tight end. He was the number 1 tight end. I remember his commitment. It was a pretty big deal. He did a pretty good job with it when he ultimately went to USC. And again, you're taking in a guy that was recruited as a tight end and probably wants to play wide receiver. You hear this a lot. These tight ends want to transfer into that wide receiver role because it's flashy, but they're not as fast. They're a little bit slower. They don't have just that wide receiver natural ability. Are you giving a guy that was once a 5-star, component, hey, we're going to put you here just so you can get him because you're trying to fill in a gap, and it could be another position that burns you. Again, I don't know. I don't know enough about, 5 catches at USC last year doesn't give me a full plate of what he did.
It's Johnny Wilson 2.0. We've seen this before. It's just history repeating itself. I mean, it's the exact same thing. What happened was, I'm going to tell you what happened. They're so bad on wide receiver. They're like, whatever. I don't care. Come here. Come on. Come all. Please, if you can catch the ball.
Look, I think there's some excitement there for them to play Alabama, but after what I just kind of said about Alabama, I thought that it could maybe surprisingly keep it close. I don't feel that way anymore.
When let's see, we're gonna watch it, right? That's gonna be a good game to watch. When Bama rolls 21 up on them in the second quarter, and they start pointing the fingers and shoving each other on the sideline, we will know if this is another 2-10 Florida State team right from the get-go.
We'll see, especially quarterback play. I think it's going to be interesting to see that because
game 1, you're not going to have the culture game 10.
Yeah, you got a glimpse of it at Georgia Tech. You kind of saw pretty quickly that it was all a facade, right? When things got tough against that Georgia Tech, they couldn't figure it out, and that ended up being the basis of that team for the remainder of the year. So we'll see. Justin Welch just became a member. Shout out to Justin Welch, man. Appreciate you. Just hit over 200 people live. Awesome. Look, man, this always pumps us up. We ramp up these new shows. New time, new day, new thing, new approach to everything, and you guys show up and support. So much appreciated. If you guys aren't Gator fans, let us know down below. Love to get to know everybody that's involved. Squirrel was in a boot today in practice. Yeah, Squirrel White was also in a boot. Again, not being talked about as much as when a Florida player gets into a boot, just because the coverage I don't think is nearly as aggressive. But yeah, look, and I hate this. I hate seeing players be injured. I hate guys being dismissed. Like, we love to troll and have fun and pick at the opposing team, but we're still trying to obviously give you guys the best synopsis of what's happening as well. Let's talk about Hugh Freeze, man. He's a go ahead.
I don't take much into obviously there was some more stuff off the field because these guys have been beating on each other since spring. There's going to be fights. I mean, it happens in the pros. 2 Minnesota Vikings were fighting 2 weeks ago, and McCarthy had to get in there and break it up. And Kay wasn't happy because our star quarterback is breaking up a fight against the defense and offensive linemen.
The other thing I read too says from Tomahawk Nation says, as one source told me, it wasn't a good look for Conrad Husey, and it also wasn't a good look for the position coach. Said the Brandon Marcello said on the Insiders podcast. So again,
okay, fighting a coach is a little different.
That's what I said.
My statement.
What did you think he was doing?
It was another player. I thought
it was a coach, Cat.
Oh, yeah. As Coach JB says, don't be fighting coaches, okay?
Yeah, it was a coach. but then you hear this guy is both were in the wrong, which is wild. Yeah. Again, there's just a lot of noise for a team that you don't want to see, because again, there seems to be a lack of identity, and we continue to see it. Let's talk about Hugh Freeze, man. And I've been saying this. It's where Napier was last year. He should be number one on anybody's hot seat, and this isn't for me wanting Hugh to lose his job, but it's just a matter of a fact. He's 11-14 in 3 years, hasn't really produced much, has plenty of talent coming in. I will give him the benefit of the doubt. Here's what happened is when he showed up to Auburn, everyone had Auburn going 9-4, 10-2, right, or 9-3, 10-2, and I was like, whoa, pump the brakes. Where is this coming from? I was arguing. That's how I got a relationship with Jake Crane, because I was like, your take's awful. You're not even close. You always want to point to Florida's past recruiting class. Auburn hadn't recruited in the top 15 over a decade, and all of a sudden they're going to be, because Hugh Freeze shows up, they're going to be 9-3, 10-2. No, they're not. Nothing on paper tells me that they should be that, and they hadn't been. Now, since he's been there, they've recruited well, and now, just like when Napier got to Florida, he's going into year 3, I believe, where Florida was sitting last year with a lot of his guys, more talent. He's going into the transfer portal, gets Jackson Arnold, a.k.a. his Graham Mertz. Said this was our guy. We felt confident in him. This guy is following the blueprint of Napier as much as he can. Talented guys like Cam Coleman. We had different areas where we had our talent come in from Napier recruiting, but the team has the talent. Can it all come together? They got Keldor Falk on the defensive side. That defensive line is going to be an absolute wrecking ball to be messed with. But can Jackson Arnold figure this thing out? And then he goes out and says this that gets the writer from USA Today, Matt Hayes, in a complete frenzy of, just in case you weren't convinced after 2 seasons of bad losses, one bizarre offseason, Auburn's offensive coordinator Derek Nix explained this week how his boss would lay out play calling for the 2025 season. Nix will be handling the first down strategy and play calling. Quarterback coach Ken Austin gets third down play calling, and Hugh Freeze will be calling the second down play calling. And of course, Hugh Freeze has the ability to over call if he needs to be. So it didn't go over well. It was not received well. Florida fans could get freaking out about Billy calling plays, Auburn's got 9 guys calling plays. Pick your poison.
Can I just say this? It doesn't matter from Pee Wee all the way up. You get locked in, you kind of can forget what down you're on and distant. It's hard. You're 1,000 things are coming on. Players going on, players getting hurt. You're watching the time. You're watching timeout. Make sure you got timeouts. you get a holding call. You're blowing up on the offensive line.
You got Coach Nix. It's my turn. It's my turn to call.
My turn.
All right,
Coach,
next.
It's second down.
You're up.
What play are we running? What play are we running? Second down.
It's like, okay, boys, you're good. No, it's my turn. It's my turn. Third down. Oh, sorry. All right, guys, here's what we're gonna call this play. No, it's second down. Oh, brother.
What in God's name is that? You know what that tells me?
And so then he goes.
That tells me.
He goes, I can tell you how it's going on in Auburn. Not good. He's not happy. And then here's the big thing. It talks about the defense probably being their best part, the shiniest part of the Auburn team. And I read about this. I read about this. I can't remember. We talked about it a little bit because Jackson Arnold was struggling in practice, right? He was throwing a couple of picks. That's what we talked about a couple of weeks last week, I think it was. Yep. And apparently he had to tell his defense, "Hey, take it a little bit easy on Jackson. We don't want to ruin his confidence headed into this." Which, look, I mean, I talked about this too. Hugh Freeze went and did like the psychology thing to understand who his quarterback was. But to Jason's credit, right, our Oklahoma guy, loved Jackson, great arm, says the guy's scared of his own shadow. And he kept saying it. And look, I love to hate on Jason, and the guy's full of just bad takes. It's like his golf game. But every now and then, like his golf game, he's got a shot. He's got a swing, right? Like it'll find its way to the ball. And this might be one of them where he might have been spot on with old Jackson. Look, you watch your team and cover your team 365 days a year, you probably know a thing or two about a guy.
I'm going to say this. You know that psychology thing that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, play the clip. Just play the clip. Just play the clip.
On.
Yeah, he forgot everything. He forgot everything that psychology said.
Look at Rob. You took my turn. I get 2 play calls in a row. Can I just do audio?
No, we got to have the video.
Oh, we won't be able to have both.
Just slide it in over me.
You share your screen. It'll be easier if you share it.
Okay.
Yeah. Cam Jackson's in a boot? Like, actually? I mean, that doesn't affect us negatively, but by golly, if he is. Yeah, look, I mean, I respect him for doing the psychology class to figure this thing out, but we'll see how that all plays out, how the therapy works itself out when back's against the wall and Jackson's throwing a couple of Look, boys, told you a few weeks ago, shout out to Vegas Brendan for sending me this. That Baylor game, boys, that could throw Auburn into a tizzy real quick.
Can we see it or no?
Yeah, hold on. Oh, is this recent?
Yeah, this is today.
No way. I can't hear anything though. Right.
Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, we don't need to hear it. It's just music in the background.
Oh, okay.
You ready?
Yeah. Glitchy is all get out.
Is it glitchy?
Yeah.
So it's just Hugh Freeze just going absolutely berserk on Arnold. Really? Absolutely just berserk. Sorry guys, that didn't work out right.
Oh, I see our boy Oh, I got it. Here we go. I'm just gonna play this. Oh no, that messed up. Hey. Yo. All right, hold on.
It's incredible. I love how the camera just zooms in.
Right? Oh, the visor came off.
Their visor came off. Oh, he's still MFing him.
He's chirping him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So SEC
How's that therapy?
Shared it. Says, looks like Hugh Freeze and Jackson are on the same page. Things are going swell at Auburn in fall camp. And Jake says, this is literally just football practice. Yeah, okay.
He's hot.
Okay.
Okay. How's that therapy?
How's that?
You done forgot about
Look,
that.
I agree. It is just practice, but I kudos again what we were just talking about. He talks about how this team's supposed to be kumbaya over, and it's not going to be practice, but then you hear him about, hey, take it easy, so his confidence is there. Meanwhile, he's just, oh man, I love it. Are you guys sponsored by? No, Cody is. Cody wishes we were.
No,
Cody wishes we were.
Yeah.
All right, boys. You got to go here in a minute, don't you, Cody? We're on a time limit. Cody ruins everything, boys. We're having fun, and Cody just got to.
I got 10. I got 10 minutes. We're good.
Yeah. All right. So look, great article here from Texas insider Evan Veith about what position group is championship caliber. Love it. I love the transparency. Like, that's how they should be thinking. That's where they want to be. But is each position group at its core? Quarterback, you know it. That's what he said. All right, cool. I'm not even going to get into it. Let's move on. Running back, yes. This what caught me by surprise. But the ceiling is admittedly low. Because if CJ Baxter doesn't go, right? Wisner can't just all of a sudden take. Apparently, Jarrett Gibson and Christian Clark are not living up to the expectations. So because CJ's been dealing with an injury.
Tear.
Who's that?
Didn't one of them have an ACL tear? One of those backs?
No, everyone's healthy. I think CJ's coming off of an injury. They're all healthy as of now. CJ went down last year, yes, but they're all in right now.
Oh, they had 3 backs go down last year. Before I think
the other one's gone. The other one's gone. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, look, if both of their 1-2s are healthy, that it's yeah, and I agree. But if one goes down, that's where it starts to fall off, which I found very surprising. I thought they've recruited very well there. Again, this isn't me writing this. This is Texas Insider. Pass catchers are cautiously optimistic, yes, which I found very interesting too. We hear about Ryan Wingo, but then honestly, it kind of falls off. You got Parker Livingston, who's again enormous ceiling, but then they're going to be relying on some younger guys. We've talked about this. We've said this. We've said that this team lost a lot of talent to the NFL. Again, they've got guys coming in, so we're not freaking out. Here's what I've been hammering. Been knocking on this door for a couple of teams. LSU, offensive line. No. Penalties. Almost a problem for Texas offensive line. And if there's one negative we've seen from scrimmage so far, it's that. This unit still feels like the worst on the offense, and it's also the thinnest. Not a great place to be when think about what we just talked about. Running back room, question mark, if one guy goes down.
Can't run the ball.
Can't run the ball, or you can't, but you're not going to run it if your offensive line's getting penalties. And now you got a brand new quarterback going to be bopping on into a hostile situation, fighting for his life, slinging to cautiously optimistic wide receivers.
Yeah.
Listen, I said it last week on some teams pumped the brakes on. Texas was one of them. Like, this team's got a lot of expectations. Someone picked them to win a national championship. I get it. Ton of talent there, but a lot of unknown. And man, I feel like college football has made a complete 180 change for the fans. Is awesome, where you get kicked in the mouth quick. You don't have time to pick up your teeth anymore, it feels like. It feels like for years ago, like the first 3 or 4 games that you just kind of walked in and did your job. You got Ohio State week 1, you got Florida week 4. Okay? I mean,
I can tell you a team that will be able to run the ball, and that's Ohio State week 1. So
amen to that, brother.
Be fine in the trenches.
And I said at the beginning of the show, I don't want to see Big Ten go up there and whoop up on the SEC. But I'm a little nervous, Cody.
It's probably going to happen. It's probably going to be a week 1 loss.
It could turn into a rock fight, though. I think both teams are positioned very well defensively and could really stir things up, especially with Ohio State apparently now having a little bit of a quarterback battle, too. It could shape up to be a good one. It could come down to a pissing contest from a coaching perspective. Ryan Day maybe shook some monkeys off his back. They're going to have coordinator situations, though. New DC, new OC. They're going to have monkeys they're shaking off, too. So, it's shaping up to be a real good one, and it could be an ugly one. It could be a really ugly 1-2 matchup for week 1, or 1-3, I guess.
But again, we talk about the offensive line of Texas not being very good. Who matches up good to be in a rock fight? It'd be Ohio State, because they'll be able to run the ball, and they're going to be scared. They're going to be doubling Jeremiah Smith and company. So just Jeremiah Smith being out there as a threat of him going deep is gonna ease up on some stuff.
Here's the other issue.
I'm
their secondary, not quite yet. Not quite yet. They're relying on a lot of young guys too in that secondary. I mean,
it's you know what it is? It really puts into perspective how good Georgia has been the last couple of years, losing all that talent every single year, and just being able to plug and play right in.
Bama too. Yeah, look, I feel like that it gets, and again, this is practice. I appreciate the Texas rider, and again, here's the other thing. Let's keep this in mind. It's a championship caliber, okay? So I agree with, okay, well, Ohio State is a championship caliber team, right? I mean, so week one is going to be, it sounds like it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. It's going to be a fight, which that's fine. It's week one. It's early. Week 4, Florida has the pieces to be a playoff championship caliber team. It has the pieces. Hate me, love me, they'd have the pieces. Will it all sync up and work? That's always a question mark. They're number 7th or 6th, I think, with top 100 talent on the football team. I think there was a percentage, a little graphic I saw last week. Texas is obviously through the roof. Ohio State, Georgia, Bama, Oregon. They're in a tier of their own, but Florida was right there amongst those 5 that I just mentioned. It wasn't like Florida was off in its own little world by itself. They were above Miami, if I'm not mistaken, or right with them at least. Look, I've always, y'all know me if you watch the show, I've always been a big Texas guy. I've always had my hook'ems. This year's a little bit different for me. And this game is at Ohio State. It's not at a neutral field. Is that correct? Yeah, it's at Ohio State. Whew. Be bopping up to the horseshoe. That place is going to be bumping. Big noon kickoff. We're going to have a massive watch party. I can't wait. It's going to be an absolute blast regardless. Jeremiah Smith is a grown man and might show it come Saturday.
I'm going to say this real fast before we get off here.
Yep.
I don't want my team playing their best ball the first week. But when we talk about roster retention and making sure you're getting 94, 95, 96% of your players back. I understand they lost to the NFL draft. That's because they've been pretty successful over the years, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal to retain your roster, and they're 120th in roster.
104th, and Ohio State was 106th.
Okay, so it's going to look clunky.
It's going to look clunky.
There's a rock fight. If there's a rock fight, give me Ohio State by 7, right from the rip.
Give me the defending champ for sure, no question. Here's the other thing though, the unsung hero Arch Manning could be born that Saturday. That's something that
could be his first game, could be his last game.
I know it won't be his last game. Won't be his last game, but it could be his coming out party.
They're gonna be taking an excavation crew digging him off the turf there at
I hope not. I want him to have an awesome career, just like a Peyton Manning career, right? Go do great things. You just ain't gonna beat the boys. You know what I'm saying? Boys and girls, ladies and gents, hope you guys enjoyed this show. You guys are 200 strong all night. I appreciate your love and support as always. Live every Thursday, 8:25. We're gonna be doing the full breakdown of college football all season long. Don't want to miss it. I hope you guys make this a part of your daily schedule if you guys enjoy it. If you can't stay up late, it'll be on our podcast tomorrow. Actually, be later tonight, but you guys can listen to it if you don't want to look at our ugly faces. I totally get it. Smash the like button. Check out the shop at hightopsports.com/shop. Check out Odd Jams. Shout out to them for sponsoring today's show. That's Cody the Prof. I'm Sheldon. Until next time, boys. Peace and love.